Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Which Enneagram are you? We
Mhm.
all love personality style profiling. We all want to know which animal we are. We're into understanding our horoscope. We're understanding, are you Scorpio? Are you a Leo? All those things. Or what are you on the disc personality profile? Meyer and Briggs, or I never remember how to say that. But Enneagram is so special. And we have an expert on the Enneagram here. We have Jennifer Culverhouse here, who serves as a leadership and wellness division trainer and certified Enneagram coach with Summit Salon Business Center. With a deep passion for the beauty industry, Jennifer believes in helping individuals embrace their unique gifts both inside and out. Drawing from the transformative power of the Enneagram, Jennifer guides leaders on a journey of self discovery, helping them build confidence, expand their strengths, and grow their influence within their teams. With over 30 years of experience in the industry and as a salon owner since 2006, Jennifer brings a wealth of knowledge and empathy to every role. As a certified Enneagram practitioner with over 1,000 hours of training, Jennifer is dedicated to fostering personal and professional growth. So, without further ado, help me welcome Jennifer Culverhouse. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited that you're here. And I think it's very cool that you are both an industry coach, a salon owner. And then what made you decide? I want to dive into this Enneagram thing. For everybody listening who doesn't know maybe the difference or nuances of Enneagram, what is that and what made it enticing enough for you to want to become somebody who actually educates others on this?
Yeah. So my daughter is actually the one who introduced me to the Enneagram. She is an Enneagram practitioner as well and has a therapy practice. But she introduced me to it probably 10 years ago. Growing up with this mom who's like this workaholic, hustler, get stuff done, all the things. She was like, Mom, I think you could be really interested in this thing called the Enneagram. She was writing a paper on it in a leadership course that she was in college. And I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, I was like, Haley, I am not interested. I've taken every single test, leadership, I know how I operate. And to your point, Katie, what dog, what animal are you? What Disney princess are you? What Harry Potter school are you from? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I've done all of those things. Um, and and so, the story's kind of cool how I was a little bit humbled whenever I actually did kind of open up to exploring it a little bit. But I think what I love about the Enneagram and why I'm so passionate about it is all these other assessment tools are fantastic. I mean, they have their place. They serve a purpose. Like you mentioned, Myers Briggs. There's, 360 profiles. There's Strengths Finders. And those are all really
Right.
amazing tools. Those tools measure behavior, what we
Mm,
do. The Enneagram helps us go deeper into understanding why we do those behaviors. It's the
mm.
why beneath the what we do, which is very,
Ooh.
very powerful.
Okay. For everybody listening, they may not know, how is the Enneagram, like are people identified? I know it's kind of you're in numbers 1 through 8, but tell us like the backdrop to how people are identified with the Enneagram.
Yeah. So it's actually 1 through 9. So, and to kind of blow your mind a little bit. So, there's the version of the Enneagram that's kind of the surface version? Or what type are you? 1 through 9? What are the traits and characteristics of those types? But how I love to use the Enneagram, Katie, is I like to go deeper into the Enneagram beyond just the type. And, I love beyond the technique, this podcast. Well, with the Enneagram, I love to go beyond the type. So there's actually 9 different Enneagram types. And when you look at the Enneagram symbol, it's a circle. And the circle symbolizes wholeness. And there's lots of different lines that you see on the Enneagram symbol, and those are all pathways to transformation. We actually use those lines
Mm.
with purpose for Enneagram growth and transformation. So when I'm utilizing the Enneagram, and I know you mentioned that you're an Enneagram 3, there's actually 27 Enneagram types. And when I'm working with a client or a leader or somebody who's wanting to stretch and grow themselves utilizing the Enneagram, we go deep into those 27 Enneagram
Wow.
types. So we go beyond just the number. That's kind of just the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much depth and nuance whenever it comes to exploring and going deeper with the Enneagram.
Well, when you start educating from like a broader audience perspective and people don't know what they don't know, do you
Yeah.
start with the 9 to kind of do an overview of the different types of like, hey, here's the why behind your particular behavior in life? Like, where do you begin with that education?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And we always start with your core Enneagram type. And, I use an assessment with all of my clients, a tool that I'm certified in. And, I always say a test is a great place to start with your curiosity. But I
Mhm.
always, always share that no one knows you. A test does not know you better than you know yourself. So I like to use the test or the assessment tool that I use that I'm certified in for us to start the journey of exploration and curiosity with your Enneagram type. And once we start there, then we can start down these trails of exploration to understand all the different ways and reasons why you may do some of the things that you do.
For everybody listening, if they're like, I'm curious about this, do you have a preferred website? Is this your website? Like, how could I go and find out my Enneagram right now?
Yeah, so not all tests are created equal. So, the Enneagram is actually a really ancient tool. So the Enneagram it's thousands of years old. This is not some new kind of invention that someone has just recently come up with. This is a really ancient tool that's been used for thousands of years. So, whenever it comes to tests, I'm very, very I have a lot of caution around tests because there's so many tests out there, and, I just like to caution people that they're highly, highly inaccurate.
Mm,
They're less than 50% accurate. So, the tool that I use that I'm certified in, is over 95% accurate. And I always love to debrief the results of that tool with the clients. So, there's so many nuances to who we are as a human being. And the Enneagram is not about stereotyping you or labeling you with a number, but it's about helping you already see the box that you're in and
mm,
learning how to have the awareness and
mm.
skills to expand and make that box even bigger.
Can we share that test somewhere? Like, if somebody goes to this test location, it's kind of yours, I'm assuming, and then you go through a debrief with them.
Yes. So the test that I use is the IEQ 9. That is the tool that I use, and whenever I'm working with clients, I send them their unique link to do the assessment, and then as soon as we get those results, we debrief and explore those together. And I always say, information is so powerful. I mean, that's step one to open up our conscious awareness. The next step is exploring that, but taking it a step further and putting some action and practices in place and some experiments in your daily life to actually put that new conscious awareness into practice into your daily life.
So I love that. And for everybody listening, we'll include Jennifer's link or a way to get a hold of her to go through this process. Are you seeing any similarities when you do this with salon owners versus salon leaders? Are there any commonalities that you could share with us in the basics of like, hey, here are the nine core attributes and maybe the pros, or I shouldn't say pros and cons, but like, here are the strengths that these core attributes have, and here are the areas that people are now realizing they need to be aware of. And I'll just bring up my example. So I did not take this 95% accurate test, but I thought I was an Enneagram 3, which means that you're kind of a performer, like an achiever. You got to go do, and that can be exhausting because like you're only as good as the next thing you've accomplished. On the flip side, your biggest fear, this was what stuck with me, is rejection. So it's like perform to get like a that a boy, and then if you're rejected, it's like death to the soul. So this is
Yeah.
what I know to be kind of a thing for me. What would that be for the different enneagrams and then what do you if are there any commonalities for salon owners?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Such a good question. So I just want to say, first of all, every single Enneagram type has amazing gifts and strengths, incredible gifts and strengths that they bring. The challenge is when those strengths get overused,
Mm,
they can become blind spots or have an impact that you're not necessarily wanting or intending for them to have. So I meet with leaders all the time, and they're always talking about, I need to work on that. I need to get better at this. And I'm like, I totally hear where you're coming from. But my hope is that we can move from I need to work on this, I need to be better, I need to fix this, more to becoming more aware of when your strengths are getting overused or having an impact that you're not necessarily intending for it to, and maybe for us to start to practice some things to become more whole versus
mm,
better, more whole as a leader and having more of an impact in a more conscious, aware way. So, whenever we're talking about the 9 types, and here's what's really fascinating, I have met with over 1,000 leaders and salon professionals, and I have never met the same person twice.
wow.
That is how unique and nuanced each individual person is beyond just the number. So, whenever we're talking about the 9 types, and I'll just kind of quickly go through each of the 9. So, if we are looking at the Enneagram 1, this is the strict perfectionist. Their superpower, their gift is attention to detail, focus on excellence, order, structure. They have this really beautiful gift of having a critical eye of how this could be better.
Mm,
But their core fear gets stuck in being criticized and criticizing themselves. And when that inner critic gets really loud, it can overflow into being critical outside of themselves. For their team, the salon whatever it is, that voice can get really loud. And then
yeah.
we have our Enneagram 2, which is our considerate helper. Their superpower is they care so much about the people and the people enjoying working together, being supportive, caring about each other. Their superpower can kind of get dialed up a little bit high, and their core fear can become not being liked, not being appreciated.
Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
And then we have our Enneagram 3, which is you, Katie. And the Enneagram 3 superpower is, oh my gosh, they make everything look easy. They are incredible cheerleaders. They can see this. They can see the potential in others before they can see it in themselves. But their core fear is failure. Being seen as not competent, at not being good at what they do. And so that way underneath there is a sense of rejection.
Mhm.
I'm not seen as successful. I'm a failure. And then we have our Enneagram 4, which is our intense creative. And their superpower is they can see so outside the box, all of the possibilities. They don't want to be normal like everybody else. They want to do it differently and in a really authentic, cool kind of way that makes them unique and not ordinary. Their core fear, when that gets dialed up a little too high, becomes I am just like everybody else, or being like everybody else, being just ordinary like everyone else, basic. That is their core fear. I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be unique. And then we have
Mm.
our Enneagram 5, which is our quiet specialist. Their superpower is data, information. They don't want to know just the bullet points. If they are fascinated and interesting, they want to become the subject matter experts and know absolutely everything about it. And they're very, very innovative. Their core fear is being intruded upon or their boundaries crossed, because privacy is very, very important to them. And their core fear is looking foolish. They don't want to look
Mm.
like they don't have the information. So, Enneagram 5s are our subject matter experts.
Ah.
And then we have our Enneagram 6, which is our loyal skeptic. And their superpower is being kind of the worst case scenario expert. They are the ones that are on high alert that if we do this, here's where we need to be prepared. Here's where we need to look and poke some holes so that if something happens, we're going to be prepared for it and ready to go. They're also very, very loyal. They love to be a part of a group or a community or a team that they trust, and they become very loyal to that team. Their core fear is being unprepared or being put on the spot or not knowing what's coming next. And so sometimes they can experience some anxiety or some fear. And then we have our Enneagram 7, which is our visionary. So the beauty about the Enneagram 7, their superpower is they can see the big picture. They can see opportunities. I like to say they are the glittering butterfly of the salon, because they have this positive outlook, and, they want everybody to enjoy working together and have fun. They don't want things to get too serious. But their core fear is being limited,
Mm,
aged in, or having to experience anything that feels too serious or negative or feels painful, even.
mm,
We have our Enneagram 8, which is our active controller. And their superpower is you know exactly where they stand. They get stuff done. They're very direct, decisive. People trust them that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. They take control and they move things forward in a very powerful way. Their core fear is vulnerability and being seen as weak. So a lot of times Enneagram 8s can be very, very hard on the outside and have a hard time showing their softer side because their fear is vulnerability. And last, we have our Enneagram 9, which is our adaptive peacemaker. And
mm.
their superpower is being so accommodating. They're amazing listeners. They go with the flow. They love to be on a team where people actually listen and value what others have to say. They're very grounding presence, peaceful presence on the team. They can see all sides to a situation, but their core fear is conflict. Conflict within themselves or conflict outside of themselves. So, a lot of times, an Enneagram 9 can unconsciously make themselves small or their opinions and needs, um, they can make their opinions and needs unimportant. And so, not stand in their power. So, that's kind of an overview of the 9 Enneagram types. And then, Katie, if we throw in the nuances of the 27 subtypes, oh my gosh, that's where the conversation gets really
It's
juicy.
real wild because those are considered wings. Like if you're in good health or good whatever, you might be leaning this way in your wing. If you're struggling or your health or you got a something stressful in life, you could be leaning this direction. Do I have that a little bit right?
So here's kind of the order of where to focus on core type first,
Hmm.
subtype second, and then we go into our stretch and release lines. And honestly, Katie, your wings are the least important part of your Enneagram growth journey. But from a surface level, it seems to be what's talked about the most is your wings.
Interesting. All
Huh?
I can think about as an owner listening is there a way, Jennifer, that you do that? Do you do this on an individual basis, or is there a way to do this for like a whole salon team? How does that normally happen? And I'm assuming that's like an in-person exercise workshop experience. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I do all of the above. So I have a lot of leaders, owners, managers, educators that I meet with for their one on one leadership development. So we dive into advanced Enneagram leadership development and I meet with them one on one over, you know, an extended period of time and developing their leadership skills. I also work with leadership teams on how to work well together from their different Enneagram perspectives. And then I go into salons and I do Enneagram workshops with the entire salon team and exploring who's who on the team and why do we each do the things that we do. And oh my gosh, now I understand why these particular personalities I have kind of a challenge with, and these are a
Mhm.
little bit easier for me. So it's really powerful in opening up this new conscious awareness of, oh my gosh, I get it now. I get it. Why we do the things that we do.
For everybody listening, I'll have all the links in our show notes so that you can connect directly with Jennifer because I feel like this is so incredibly interesting, the depth to this, but I'm excited about the way you help make it applicable. And
Yeah.
where my head just went is if I were to identify who do I struggle with in order to be whole, do I need to get along better with all those people? Or do I say, that's okay if they're not my quite good fit. I'm going to actually focus on building the team with the people who are. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, that's such a great question that I get asked a
Mm.
lot. So, if we're just going to stick with our Enneagram type and what feels most comfortable and easiest for us, then we're only going to want to surround ourselves with people like us. But if we are wanting to expand our awareness and expand our own consciousness to more wholeness, then we're going to recognize some of those traits in other people that may be really difficult for us could be an indicator of an area within ourselves that we have opportunity for growth and stretch and transformation in our own selves. And so I always say, whatever you're most resistant to is your greatest opportunity for growth and wholeness.
That's a quote we need to write down. Say that one more
Yeah.
time. Whatever, go ahead.
Whatever you are most resistant to is your greatest opportunity for wholeness and growth.
Yeah, I love it.
And I
And I
always
re-
say that to some owners and leaders. I tell them, they're like, well, Jennifer, I just have a hard time with the emotions and the people, I'm just not warm and fuzzy. And so, can I just put somebody in my leadership team that does the feeling, emotions, warm, fuzzy people stuff better? And I'm like, yeah, you totally can. But if you're wanting to transform yourself and expand yourself as a leader, let's explore how we can start to incorporate some of those practices in you.
Jennifer, this is so cool. And, you and I have never had this type of chance to get to know each other. I love your personality. I feel like you are so easy to talk with. I imagine that this is why you've had over 1,000 people work directly with you on this. And I am loving that this is now an accessible tool and workshop and relationship that other owners and leaders can tap into. So before
Yeah.
we're done, first, thank you for being here and sharing this. But what
Mhm.
would be some final words of wisdom or encouragement for owners and leaders listening today?
Yeah. So my encouragement is the best place to start is with you. Because so many of us, all of us in our human experience, based on lots of things, we have become very, very good with operating in autopilot and what's, worked well for us, right? And so a lot of times we're unconscious to those habits that we have. So the Enneagram is about from moving from unconscious habits to conscious choice. It's not about changing who you are. It's about becoming more conscious to who you are in your adaptive patterns and ways that we kind of operate in autopilot and becoming more conscious to those things. And then making the conscious choice of, is this having the impact I'm wanting and intending for it to have? And having some grace with yourself and not judging yourself. But now you're operating from a place of, I'm witnessing and I'm seeing my patterns. And now I have a conscious choice to make a change on whether that is having the impact that I'm wanting it to have. And
Yeah.
so with leaders, I always say, just start with you first. And that is so powerful. And then from that place, we can consciously understand and consciously make choices on our awareness of how we're impacting the people around us.
That's so good. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is really a great way for all of us to elevate our lives, the lives of people around us, our ability to lead. And life is not done isolated. So it is important that we understand ourselves and others as well as we can. So thank you again for being here and shedding a little bit of a light on this cool personality style. This is way more intricate than I ever thought. And I just really appreciate you sharing it.
Yes, I'm so glad that that's what kind of rose to the surface because
Sure.
I'm so passionate about not stereotyping and labeling people on our teams and thinking we know them better than they know
Mhm.
themselves. This opens us up to curiosity and
Yeah.
holding relationships with curiosity, exploring ourselves, and then allowing others to be our teacher and being
Mm,
curious about them and learning more about them.
that's cool. Well, thank you for being here, Jennifer. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you love this platform, please take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like you will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you're supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.